Let's look at life coaching as the act of empowerment. You are giving someone the ability to be empowered, to have the ability to do what they want. So what I like to do is, rather than creating a crutch that someone's going to need to use forever, meaning you are the crutch for them, and if you go away, then everything crumbles. Rather than setting up a situation like that, what I'd like to see you do is to set up a situation in which they are empowered by what you do, but they're learning to do it for themselves, because they're really not, in most cases, going to want to keep you on the payroll forever. They've probably got a situation that's temporary, something they want to overcome. More importantly, they need to learn how to get momentum going so they can use that for anything. And then they'd like to move on so that they don't have to have you on the payroll all the time and have to answer to you all the time and so forth. Now, they may want a long-term relationship with you where they have you for years and you're constantly helping them, but that's probably not what they need, and that's probably not the best thing for them. What's probably the best thing for them, in most cases, is empowering them, giving them the knowledge that they can do it themselves. They can take the ball and they can run with it. So whereas you come in as a facilitator, a helper, someone who's going to show them how to get things done, you should not come in as someone who sets themselves up as an integral part of their business that they'll need from then on. So everything that you know how to do, you should share with them, because you're not trying to create an ongoing job for yourself. You're trying to get them up and running so they can do it themselves. And trust me when I tell you that that's going to lead to more work for you. You may be thinking, well, if I do that, then I won't have any more work because they won't need me anymore, and then I'll be between jobs and I won't have any clients potentially for a while if they all get better and they all leave me. Well, that's what's actually going to pay your bills in the long run. The ability to get people up and running, the ability to help them, to get them moving forward is going to pay off, because other people are going to see that. And they're going to say, hey, wait a minute. So-and-so helped him. So-and-so helped her. I want to hire so-and-so. I want to have them on my team, even if it's just temporary. So you get more and more clients, and you can raise your rates eventually. Once you get a reputation as someone who gets the job done, who actually helps people, you can raise your rates. So your job is to empower them. Okay, so the goal is to expand people's awareness through powerful and thought-provoking questioning technologies. You need to challenge them. You are going to ask them a series of questions. For example, the first questions are very easy. What is it you hired me for? What do you want to do? Where are we going? What's the purpose of all this? Why are we here? Why are we working together? So the questions start out pretty easy, but then they get a little more challenging. You have to be on your toes to ask thought-provoking questions. And I'm going to get into more detail about that, but realize that the questions you're asking aren't just a series of questions, such as, what do you want to work on today? Or what did you do? Did you do your homework? Or anything like that. Those are good questions, but when it becomes a questioning technology, that means that it's part of a greater picture. You have a course mapped out, and you're bringing them along that course one step at a time. So that's what I mean by questioning technologies. You are working your questions into a larger framework, which is going to allow them to move forward and to gain acceleration. So you're going to expand their awareness through this. Expand their awareness. Sometimes they're not aware of what they're doing or what they're not doing. They think they are. They think they're just showing up late for a meeting, or they're just finishing something past a due date or something like that, past the time when it was scheduled to be done. But really, sometimes what they're doing is sabotaging themselves. So when you ask a question, why did you do that? Realize that you want to put it in a larger context as part of a thought-provoking questioning technology, which would be, why did you do that? Still the same question, but you're getting at through a series of other questions, the answer in a larger context. You don't just want to hear, when they're late for a meeting, you don't just want to hear, I was just late and that's what happened. I was late. That's what happened. I overslept. What you want to get to is why they're doing it, why they're doing it consistently, why they're sabotaging themselves. What is at the root of that? What are they afraid of they might accomplish if they didn't mess up? That's what you want to get to. So that's when it becomes a technology, when it's framed inside of this larger picture of you actually getting at things, not to pick on them, but to help them move forward. You are attempting, through a series of questions that you're going to design as you go, you're attempting to get at the deeper meanings of things. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? How does this fit into their overall sabotage pattern, for example? So you want to help them leverage their gifts and talents a lot faster than they could do alone. They could do this all by themselves. They could, make use of their talents. Maybe they know how to juggle and they're trying to join the circus. Who knows? Who knows what they're trying to do? And they could do that. But if they have a talent for juggling and they're trying to join the circus, probably not a scenario that's going to happen. But if that were the case, you need to leverage their gifts and talents a lot faster. Help them do it. Help them leverage these things a lot faster than they would be able to do this alone. Otherwise, your meaning being there, your whole position there becomes kind of vague. Why are you there? If they can juggle already and they're trying to join the circus, can't they just juggle a little more often and tell a few more people about it, and eventually the word gets out to the right circus or what have you, and they join it? You need to help them leverage that. So that would mean perhaps encouraging them to make a video recording of them juggling, getting it professionally edited, practicing consistently, going to auditions for different circuses and so forth, getting them out there. You're helping them leverage their gifts and talents. So you're scheduling them for this. You're holding them to that. You're making them responsible for following through. That's where you come in. You're not teaching them how to juggle. You're not creating a circus. You're putting the two together. You've got a juggler and you've got a circus. And your job is to help them leverage what they already have so they can get to the circus faster than they would have alone. Just practicing once a week, not really telling anyone about it, not really making a video about it, not really promoting themselves, not making a business card, not making a business plan, and so forth. So when you help them leverage what they already have, you help them move forward a lot more quickly. Now, the most important part about this sentence is that you're not creating anything. If they already have these gifts and these talents, you don't need to create that. Sometimes you will need to create things. Sometimes you're going to have to get them trained in certain things that they don't know so that they can move forward. But in most cases, they're going to have some abilities. They're just not using them the right way. I remember when a company in New York discovered me, and I was a hypnotherapist, and I had some recordings, and I was selling them. This company in New York took the talents I had, the abilities I had, showed me how to leverage them, showed me how to reach more people. Same effort on my part, different marketing plan, different approach. So they took what I had, and they did something with it. That's what you'll be doing in many cases. So as a life coach, you will develop the skill to unlock the power of others. Think about that. You're going to unlock it. Doesn't mean you're going to create a skill. It just means you're going to unlock it. Now, sometimes they're going to need to develop new skills, as I've said. And sometimes they're going to need to enhance existing skills. If they're playing piano, they may need to practice more often. My father always said, practice, practice, practice. Whatever you do, practice. Practice the basics. Always go back to the basics. Always practice them. That's how you get better. Then you can build from there. You always must at least practice the basics. So getting back to my main point, you need to help them develop the skill to unlock their own powers. You are going to develop your own skill to unlock their powers, and you're also going to help them. If we look at this at the next level now, you're going to help them to develop that skill to unlock their own power. That's for the future. So initially, you're going to unlock their power, but you're also going to teach them how to use those keys, how to unlock those powers down the road. because you're not always going to be there, or at least you shouldn't. You shouldn't be setting it up that way. You shouldn't be setting it up as, well, we could go to the next level, you and I, but you're going to have to pay me for another year. You shouldn't be thinking like that. You shouldn't be saying things like that. You should be giving them the keys to unlock their own future doors. But initially, you will develop the skill to unlock their powers. Since you're going to be developing the skill, you're going to be able to teach them that so they can develop their own powers, unlock their own powers as they go on, because each level requires new skill. Interestingly enough, in my career, initially the skill required was to hypnotize people. That was it. I started out as a hypnotherapist. I just needed to know how to hypnotize people. As I've gone on in my career and become more popular and so forth, sometimes the skills I need are things like the ability to say no. I've got all these offers going on. Sometimes I need to say no to things, and that can be a skill. And that's a skill I didn't expect to have to learn because I used to say yes to everything. Everything was coming at me, or sometimes things weren't coming at me at all. And so if something did come at me, I'd say yes. But eventually, as I went on, I learned to develop the skill to say no. So you never know what kind of skills are going to come up. You don't know what kind of skills your clients are going to need down the road. So teach them how to unlock future skills. Just give them that gift so that when they find a skill they need, they will be able to unlock it from their own subconscious mind when they need it. So you're going to do this by motivating and asking the right questions. As you work with someone, you're going to get a feel for this. A lot of life coaching is just a feel. You're going to get a feel for the way things work. And when I say that, what I mean is you're going to learn as you go. You're going to jump in. I'm going to give you the skills. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you the skills to jump in, to feel confident about life coaching. But a lot of it you're going to find is like a dance. You get in there, you learn some basic moves, but really, when you're on the dance floor, you're dancing. And sometimes you're going to make moves that aren't in any book or any video anywhere, not even on YouTube. No video. Doesn't exist. You're going to make it up in the moment. That's the way life coaching is in many cases. You're going to come up with things in the moment in many cases. So, realize that one of the things you're going to do is to unlock the power of others by motivating and asking the right questions. You're going to find yourself doing those two things a lot. You're going to be a cheerleader. You're going to be there for them. You're going to pick up the pieces. When everything falls apart, that's your job. You're going to be motivating them. They're going to say, no, I can't. It's not going to work. This will never happen. Your job is to say, yes, it will. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. It's going to happen. So a lot of your job is to kick people in the pants, motivate them, keep them moving. Another big part of your job is to help them keep unlocking those powers by asking the right questions. For example, if something's not working for them, what do? You start asking questions, but not just any questions. First of all, you figure out what the goal is. Because maybe what they're doing that's not working isn't even necessary for the goal. Maybe they think it is, but it's not. So you ask what the goal is. Always a great place to start. But then you want to start asking them more questions. Okay, what could you have done differently? What did you do that didn't quite work out that you could have done differently? Why didn't you do it? How can we plan so the next time you will do it? Questions along those lines. Those are the right questions. But the right questions don't come from a list. They don't come from a list of the right questions. Situation A14B9. Okay, here are the questions for that. It doesn't work that way. It's a dance, and you're out there on the dance floor. The questions are going to come to you, but you need to be aware of what's going on. And what's going on is that you're helping this person move toward the goal. That's always your goal, help them move toward the goal. The questions should be guided by the greater picture and your desire to help them move toward the goal. You also want to help promote self-awareness. If you can get someone to be self-aware, you can do so much. Think about something like a sabotage pattern. People have sabotage patterns. They get in their own way. They mess themselves up. They stop themselves. They hurt themselves. They hurt their careers. They do all kinds of things. Because they're not self-aware. They don't realize what's going on. They don't realize they're standing in their own way. They don't realize that they're sabotaging themselves consistently. I talk about sabotage a lot because you're going to run into it a lot. You're going to see it a lot. If I were training you to be a heart surgeon, I would talk about things related to clogged arteries a lot because I would know that you're going to see it a lot. You're going to see a lot of clogged arteries as a heart surgeon. Well, as a life coach, you're going to see a lot of sabotage. Sort of similar. People clog their arteries. They slow their flow. They back themselves up. And they don't even realize they're doing it in many cases, just like with arteries clogging. They just think they're eating and living their lives. Actually, they're eating the wrong things, clogging their arteries. Well, sometimes people make steps that aren't the right steps for them. They don't even realize it. They don't realize that they're clogging their arteries, clogging the arteries of their lives, things that could flow smoothly, things that could move them from point A to point B nicely and easily. They don't do, or they quote unquote forget. Actually, there's just sabotage patterns. Self-awareness starts to kick in when people pull away from the myopic picture. That's where self-awareness begins. So, you want to promote self-awareness. When someone has an insight, you congratulate them. There's a psychologist who's gone now. His name was B.F. Skinner. He was very popular in the 1950s. Behavioral psychologist who realized something very simple, which is that if you reward people when they do good things, they'll keep doing good things. They'll just want to do them because they're getting a reward. When someone is self-aware, when someone does something or says something that shows that they have insight into what's going on, and they're one of your clients, you should reward them somehow. The reward system is different for everyone. Some people like praise. Some people like you to just smile at them. Who knows what your client will like? There's something that they will like that will be a reward for them. So you want to help promote self-awareness. Anytime they have an insight to something they're doing, reward that and promote self-awareness.